I am so disappointed. What? February was your twinkly instrumental math rock phase. What the hell does that even mean? I wonder if I can find a book that is recommended based on lo-fi or something. Wow, I'm so surprised. Wow, this is a turn of events because I did not know I'd be reading books based on and honestly, that is all I could ever ask for. Hi, I'm Alex, this is Pucks and Paperbacks, and I'm letting Spotify Wrapped decide what I read for the weekend. I have been dying to make this video. I had it planned last December, and then I saw Kayla from Booksalala do it. The trend of having Spotify pick your TBR in some way, either it be Daylists, random playlists, or Spotify Wrapped, have been so popular this year, and I'm so glad it's finally my turn. However, I'm filming this before they're out. It's currently November as I'm filming this, and I'm eager to find out what my results are going to be so that I can decide what books to read. I believe it's going to be out November 29th, so I will come back once it's officially out, react to it with you, and pick some books. Let's get started. It's November 25th, and I was just listening to music on Spotify, and I thought, why don't I tell you my predictions before I actually get my Spotify Wrapped? I have been listening to a lot of Sabrina Carpenter, and her album Short and Sweet came out this year. I feel like that is normal for a lot of people, so it's actually gonna be really easy for me to find a book through that, because when I was gonna do this video originally last year, I found a lot of recommendations based on songs from Olivia Rodrigo, so she actually might be on here. I listen to her a lot. I listen to Joshua Bassett. I feel like that might be pretty hard. Ashton Irwin has a new album out. He is the drummer of 5 Seconds of Summer, one of my top 5 favorite bands, and it is so good. If you're a Five Sauce fan, I highly recommend to listen to his solo album. Him and Luke both released albums this year, and I love their solo stuff as much as Five Sauce. It is so good. So those might show up. Of course, there's some One Direction on here. I listen to One Direction when I need a dopamine hit, especially when I'm exercising. I also use High School Musical 3 Senior Year soundtrack for exercising. It hypes me up so much. Personally, it's one of my favorite soundtracks and movies. Yeah, so we have some Five Sauce, some Ashton and Luke, as well as Sabrina Carpenter. I feel like she's gonna show up a lot, as well as Josh. If you know the lore, it's really funny that all of these are on here, but they're all great musicians and I really enjoy their music. And if you didn't know this, one of my favorite bands is the Wonder Years. They are a local band here in PA. They are pop punk and amazing. I love them so much. They now have converted more into rock and alternative. You'll see a pattern that those are the styles that I like to listen to. But here and there, I also like to listen to pop and some nostalgic tunes. Basically, there is a lot of songs that I had from last year, so that would actually really work out because, like I said, I was already planning this video last year and I had books ready. I just never got around to actually finishing it because I had another song-themed video that I did, so I just didn't get around to this. So that is a glimpse into my Spotify playlist and what I listen to. I'm really excited to see what will be on my Spotify Wrapped and, most importantly, what I'm going to be reading. It's finally time for the Spotify Wrapped. It is December 4th. I have my Joshua Bassett shirt on to represent because he's probably going to be on this list multiple times. Now, before I say this, I appreciate all of the hard work that goes into Spotify Wrapped from the employees and things like that. But why is it here? Why is it so little? I was hoping to open Spotify and get a pop-up, and I didn't even think about it because every morning I listen to Flyers Daily, and I didn't even see anything about the Spotify Wrapped, and I was looking on my homepage and I was like, did it not come? Do I have to wait another day? Because I saw somebody saying it's coming before December 6th, so I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna have to wait longer? But no, it's finally here in this tab. I am so disappointed. Oh, but there's audiobooks. That's interesting. So maybe I could incorporate that, but I think I'm gonna just stick to music. But let's jump in. It's that time of year again. Rap's ready, are you? Life moves fast. Luckily, we took notes. You listened for 30,093 minutes this year. Your biggest listening day was March 6th with 313 minutes. You played 2,353 songs this year, and one song again and again and again. That is one thing with me, is I listen to the same songs over and over and over. Also, I don't listen to as much audio because I listen to a lot of music and podcasts. So I'm actually going to check my reading tracker and let you know so far how much I've listened to on audio. I believe it's like 200 hours. There's lots of Dominic Fike. Okay, my top songs. This is really eye-opening because I usually have the Wonder Years every single year, but I guess I just haven't really been listening to them all that much. My top song is Phone Numbers by Dominic Fike and Kenny Beats. Coming in at number 2 is Georgia Peach by Quinn96. I looked up how to pronounce his name, and I was like, that's so boring, Quinn96, but whatever. The Golden Years by Joshua Bassett is a song that I listen to way too much, and I wonder if it tells me. Dancing in the Courthouse by Dominic Fike, of course. Close My Eyes by Luke Hemmings, because I love Five Sauce, and like I've said earlier, I love their solo stuff. So honestly, this isn't that surprising, but I will say Quinn96 is probably my most surprising. However, I know I listen to Georgia Peach a lot, so wow. My music taste has really changed because usually it's all pop punk. However, Joshua Bassett's always on. I love him. Oh, so it is going to show me my 2024 music evolution. See, I love stats and things, so this is right up my alley. Oh, what? February was your twinkly instrumental math rock phase. What the hell does that even mean? You were really into artists like Standards, Parachute Day, and Of Two Minds. Now, I listen to a lot of lo-fi while I work. It helps me focus, and that's really going to be in here. So Standards they're an instrumental band. I actually saw them live. I believe they opened for Tiny Moving Parts, and I was so impressed. I had never seen instrumental live before, and I was so impressed that I listened to them a lot. So I'll link them. Okay, March was my chill noise lo-fi season. Milk, Less Gravity, and Blurred. I wonder if I can find a book that is recommended based on lo-fi or something. That would be interesting. Here's Renee Rapp. Did the Mean Girls musical come out this year? I think it did. And if it did, I listened to a lot of that, so. May was your Pink Pilates Princess Strut Pop. Oh my god, that is a lot of alliteration. Huh. Oh, so I listened to Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, and One Direction. Honestly, that all does really check out. That is interesting that I guess I didn't really start listening to Sabrina Carpenter because I listened to her before with her other album. I listened to 867 artists. Holy shit, that's a lot of people. If Luke Hemmings has one fan, it's me. If everybody's dead, I am still his #1 fan. I don't know what the meme thing is right now, but I'm his #1 fan, and I listen to the shit out of this. This is just a video where I am just urging you to listen to their solo work if you're a Five Sauce fan, and even if you're not, go and check it out, because Luke Hemmings is the best. I love him so much. This is great. I love this. But it's so funny because the Wonder Years are always my top. This is so interesting. Wow, I'm so surprised. My longest listening streak was 9 days. So this album did come out this year, so it makes sense. I was... oh my god. I was the top 1% fan and spent 1,172 minutes together. And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way, Luke. I wouldn't. Wow, this is a turn of events because I did not know I'd be reading books based on Luke Hemmings, and honestly, that is all I could ever ask for. Who else got a lot of play this year? Okay, my top artists, this makes sense. This is what I had said in my predictions, but I really didn't expect Luke to be #1. I'm still so shocked about that. Luke is number 1, Chappell Roan number 2, Sabrina Carpenter number 3, Quinn 96 at 4, and last is Dominic Fike. This really checks out, honestly. And if you like hip-hop, rap, or kind of like a poppy hip-hop, like, I don't really know what to describe Dominic Fike as, but I really like him. I think he's great. I actually found him last year through the Barbie movie and some Twitch streamers I watched. They were recommending him and listening to his music a lot, and I was enjoying it, so now I have them to thank. And now Luke is going to personally talk to me, and I know it's not actually, but...
It's Luke here. If you're watching this, that means you're in my top listeners of this year, which
I am.
must not be feeling very well, so sorry about that. Thank you so much for listening to the music. It means the world. Thank you for Strut. Yeah.
You're welcome. Now everybody else, stop this video, go listen to Luke, and then come back. Or you can watch him, you can listen to it at the end. I am so surprised by this. Now I'm like, how am I going to decide what to read based off of this? I am so flabbergasted. Okay, there's more like 2024 in podcasts, 2024 in audiobooks. I really didn't listen to a lot of audiobooks, but I guess this is just saying like what the most popular are. I really don't like this, your wrapped AI. I hate the AI shit. I'll go look at this later, but let me go back because I want to see if I have last year's, which I should. I'm still in awe and shock that... Oh. Me, I'm not that big of a 5 Sauce fan. I like them. I'm not that big of a fan. Top artists from last year, 5 Seconds of Summer. This is what I mean when I say out of sight, out of mind, because if something happened, I just totally forget. So, last year, I had my top artists as 5 Seconds of Summer, The Wonder Years, Fall Out Boy, Lainey, and Olivia Rodrigo. Which I'm surprised Olivia didn't even show up on my Wrapped, because like I said, I listened to her a lot, but I guess I just didn't listen to her as much as I thought that I did. Maybe I just listened to her more last year. But my top genre was pop punk. So what was my top genre this year then? Oh, it didn't even say. So they took that away, I guess? Huh. Okay. But I'm curious. I want to know. Like, what do all of these artists have in common? Like, I guess they're kind of pop or like alternative. Listen, when it comes to music, the genres, I could not tell you. So now I have to compile a TBR based on these results. So I'm gonna scour Instagram and TikTok and blogs to find some books that I can read. I'm only gonna stick to 2 in this video, and hopefully they'll be short because today's Wednesday and I have a lot of stuff to do and I just want this to be a mini vlog. So I'm gonna go try and figure out how to get a book based on Luke Hemmings, Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, and I think Dominic Fike. I had him originally for me planning this last year, so that'll be easy. And I would like to probably get something in my top songs, but it's honestly totally fine if I can't. Let me know in the comments what your Wrapped looked like. Maybe an artist that you listen to. I know a lot of readers don't listen to music a lot because they usually listen to audiobooks, so let me know what your favorite audiobook this year was then, if you don't have an answer to the Apple Music Wrapped or any of your, like, music Wrapped. I am gonna sit with this. I am still so surprised. I'm so surprised. But you know what? 5 Sauce never dies. I will always be a 5 Sauce fan through and through, and you can thank One Direction for that. Now, I'm gonna go build my TBR and come back and let you know what I'm gonna read. Wish me luck. It's about an hour later and I've put together a little TBR, so let's go over it. Starting with Chappell Roan, I'm combining that phrase they gave me. Is that a phrase? The alliteration? I have no idea what it's actually called, but they gave me Pink Pilates Princess Strut Pop. Try and say that 5 times fast. I won't. So I was like, why don't I find a book that has pink on the cover? And I did. BookTube recommended Your Driver is Waiting by Priya Guns for the song My Kink is Karma. I don't even know if that's on my actual Spotify thing, but it's fine. I'm like, I already have this book, it has pink on the cover, and I really don't want to think too much about this TBR. And I have been putting this on my TBRs and I haven't read them, and I just want to read short things, and every book that I have found that I've been recommended, I've literally added to my story graph, because I'm like, okay, I'll read it later, but I can't read a 380-page book today, I'm sorry. Next is lo-fi, and since lo-fi is super popular in Japan, I decided why don't I pick a Japanese book. So I picked a manga. I found a article from Book Riot recommending cozy manga, and here's what I picked. Like a Butterfly Volume 1 by Sue Morishita. I thought that this was cute, so I was like, you know what, let me get it, and also it was the cheaper option. We're all about the short vibes in this vlog because it's gonna be mini and I want to power through some books. And last, I need to find something for Luke Hemmings. The song that was my top song is Close My Eyes, and as soon as I listened to it again, I was like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Honestly, I just think he is such an amazing songwriter and musician. He is just so thoughtful and his music is just some of my favorite. This is from his EP Boy that released this year, and this song in particular talks about him reflecting on his life as he was, I believe, 15 or 16 when the band formed and One Direction took them under their label, and they were barely surviving. And it's him talking about going back to Australia and how things are different. This specifically talks about not being there for certain moments in his life, and I'm actually probably gonna cry because it's just so touching and impactful, because you listen to this and you're like, this is so sad. It's so sad because the lyrics are, don't be sad in the middle, whole life and no time to mourn, watch it die in the mirror, don't cry, it won't be long. Feel as your eyes get heavy from looking at what you want. Need something to break the levee, the overflow in my heart. Now I don't want to close my eyes, see everything I've done. I never got to say goodbye. I won't look back until it's gone. Everything that I try to bury and all the little deaths that set me off. I can't close my eyes. That is why Luke Hemmings is the fucking king, okay? That's why he's my king, and I love that. That is so powerful. The song is so good. I'll link the music video down below because I will literally probably get my whole channel taken down if I even post the song. So I could probably speed it up, but I'm not taking any chances. So I want to find a book about grief or coming of age, especially just like coming into maybe your 20s or 30s. So I need more time to look at that, but I'm glad to have this little mini TBR so far. Exciting to read a manga because I read them a lot back in June, and I'm excited to see what I think about these, and also glad that these are books that I would read. That's it too, is I don't really want to spend money. Okay, I'm gonna get reading and I will see you later, and hopefully I will have found a book for Luke Hemmings. Me, this is a short video, so I'm not gonna pick too many books. Also me, picks too many books. Now, I have two options for Luke Hemmings. I was trying to find some books that have either somebody reflecting on their lives or going back and starting new. Those books were too long, and I actually found them on Reddit. When I googled it, there was a lot of Reddit recommendations. Honestly, I didn't find anything on Instagram. I think that was the hardest. Honestly, can I just say, Instagram is so unusable now. Just using this app to search anything is literally impossible. When I search, I think I searched like books about music or something, and just like random book posts come up of just books, like people's wrap-ups and shit. And I'm like, that's literally not what I asked you. I am so annoyed about it, and especially as somebody who literally works in social media for their job, it is fucking impossible to use this platform, and it sucks because Instagram is literally one of my favorite apps. No more because it sucks. You literally ruined the app. But we're talking about Spotify, not Instagram, but I guess the same could be said for Spotify. Oh, I'm so sick of these billionaires. I am so sick of them and the AI. I'm so sick of it. But anyway, I have 2 books that I'm going to be choosing from. First, I think, is the ultimate winner, A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Bachman. So I'm like, okay, so I'm probably going to be sobbing in this video because I heard this is really sad. Let me read you what it's about. Trigger warning for mention of suicide attempt. This says, A Man Called Uwe follows the journey of a 59-year-old grumpy man who, after losing his beloved wife and his job, decides to end his life out of hopelessness. But the synopsis on Goodreads is different, so we'll see. But a lot of it says, it's a thoughtful exploration of the profound impact one life has on countless others. And you know what? I feel like that's very relatable to Luke Hemmings, because as somebody who has impacted my life through his music, checks out. Perfect. And then I have Chronicles of a Death Foretold by Gabriel García Márquez. And this is also translated. I picked a bunch of translated works in this video without even knowing, so that's fun. This says, a man returns to the town where a baffling murder took place 27 years earlier. Determined to get to the bottom of the story, just hours after marrying the beautiful Angela Vicario, everyone agrees. Bayardo San Roman returns his bride in disgrace to her parents. His distraught family forced her to name her first lover, and her twin brothers announced their intention to murder Santiago Nazar for dishonoring their sister. Yet, if everyone knew the murder was going to happen, why did no one intervene to stop it? The more that is learned, the less is understood, and as the story races to its inexplicable conclusion, an entire society, not just a pair of murderers, is put on trial. I feel like A Man Called Uwe fits this song better, but this also sounds interesting, and it's only 120 pages, so what the hell? Let's just add it. Oh, A Man Called Uwe is 337 pages. I thought that this was short. Okay. We'll see. We'll see, okay? Not me regretting this video already. I'm not regretting it, but maybe it's just not the best time to be doing this. Oh well. Okay, I'm actually gonna get my day properly started because I have derailed my morning too much. I will see you later. Bye. It's time to try some hot chocolate. Throughout my vlogs this month, I have 2 advent calendars. One is coffee themed and the other is hot cocoa. Today's is hot cocoa and it's candy cane. I'm super excited. It's Grinch theme. So we're going for a Grinch theme this year. This is one of my favorite flavors and I'm really excited to try it. And I'm going to read. I also have some video stuff to do. I have to caption a video. So while I do both of those things, I'm gonna start the audio of A Man Called Uwe in tandem with the captioning. Obviously, I'm not going to listen to them at once, but when I give myself little breaks in between, I'll listen to the audiobook. But it's hot cocoa time. So good. So good. Hello, I actually just got back from the dollar store. Today is Friday, and I'm hoping to finish A Man Called Uwe today. Apologies that I was saying it wrong, but once I listened to the audiobook, I knew how to properly say it. I'm about 40% in, and I'm enjoying it. I just think Frederick Bachman is great. He's one of my favorite authors. As I read this, I just keep thinking how incredible of a writer I think he is. I just admire the way he can write different characters. I was just thinking he can write any character, and I think he does such a great job of writing a grumpy old man. Basically, we're following Uwe, whose wife passes away, and he is going to unalive himself because he feels like there's no purpose left in his life. It is so fucking sad. I knew that. And I was at the dollar store because I had to get a couple of things, including tissues. I've been told this is going to make me sob, and honestly, I have had a really rough week, and I'm very emotional at the moment, so I can expect that I'm gonna cry at this. The first chapter alone had me choked up, so I can't even imagine what is actually going to happen when I read this book. But I do have to do some chores, so I think I'm actually gonna pop on the audiobook. I would have done it when I was at the store, but honestly, I just have not been able to focus lately, and I just needed to listen to some music, so I actually did listen to my top songs on Spotify. So at least I did something Spotify related for this vlog. But I'm gonna go do some chores, and then I will come back with hopefully an update that I finished the audiobook.
One eternity later.
It's been a while, and from my voice you can probably tell why. I have been so sick over the last week. It started on like Monday, and then I thankfully was able to get an antibiotic, but I have a sinus infection and they just literally strike me down every time. Luckily this year I've only gotten them twice, but I literally would not wish it on anybody. It is the worst thing ever. I am so glad I finally feel better today on Sunday, but I'm still gonna take it easy because I have all of this energy now, but then my energy just, and you can hear in my voice, it's just nasally and raspy, and I just am so tired. It is 1 o'clock. I literally just woke up like an hour ago. Today is the first day of the Queer Lit Readathon, and I'll be starting that vlog. I had so many plans, and this is just why I cannot ever stick to a schedule, because I swear every time I try, something happens, and then I'm just upset because I wanted to do the thing and then it didn't happen. I want to finish this vlog. I'm just bummed because I wanted this to go out Thursday, and I actually have finished the other two books. I did read A Man Called Uwe and Like a Butterfly, so I'm going to talk about those. A Man Called Uwe, I did not cry, and I honestly think I was just so in my head about it because I knew that it was going to happen eventually, so I was like, you know what, I don't know. I was also sick. It was like the beginning of me being sick, so I was just listening to the audiobook and I was just there. But honestly, I really enjoyed this. I love grumpy characters. Also, this character definitely gave me some neurodivergent vibes just because he takes everything literally and just gets angry about certain things, and it's just having one sort of view in life and the literal thinking. And I read some reviews that also agreed with that and said that it felt like the character was autistic. But overall, Frederick Bachman is just awesome, and I don't really have much more to say. I'm really glad I picked this book for Close My Eyes because it does talk about life and transformation, and also some of the things that happened at the end of the book. Basically, we're following Uwe, who his wife recently passed away, and he is planning to unalive himself. It is so funny because every single time he has it all set up, he has funeral arrangements, he literally has everything set. A neighbor knocks on his door, and the one scene he was like, okay, I'll just ignore them, let me go do my thing. And then they just keep knocking and knocking, and then he's like, okay, fine, I'll go and help them right now, and then I'll come back to this later. And honestly, that is just Frederick Bachman's characters. That is his writing, that is his characters, and I just love him for that. I love those kind of humorous situations. He is able to write dark books with a comedic twist, and that is what Anxious People was. Anxious People was about a group of people who were held hostage in an apartment viewing, and then there's just silly things that happen. And that book also talks about mental health and depression and suicide, so I guess that's just Frederick Bachman's thing. But honestly, he does such a great job with it. I really enjoyed this, especially as we're able to really see Uwe's life and maybe some things that he's done wrong and how he interacts with people. The heart of his character is he is good-natured and he does care for people, but it's funny because he's just always grumpy and angry about things. But if we look at him through a neurodivergent lens, I think things can be so different because he isn't just angry, he's like, this is not right, this is not how I see it. He could just be himself. Maybe he's not grumpy. But there is a lot of things that have happened in his life. He also has a heart condition. So there's a lot of things going on in his life. But I just really enjoyed this, and I'm so glad I read it. So thank you, Luke Hemmings, for this opportunity. Hello, I'm currently watching hockey. It's intermission, so why don't I start a manga? I'm gonna have the game on in the background while I read, because we are playing the Stanley Cup champions, and we have had like 4 days off, and I think this is a scheduled loss. For sure. I'm not feeling good vibes about this, so why don't I read while I just have hockey on in the background? Then for the lo-fi, I read the manga Like a Butterfly, and honestly, this was fine. It was just very slow. This is a slow burn teen romance following 2 kids in high school, and they are just very shy, and it is us getting to see them finally get to talk to each other. And honestly, I thought that was really cute. If you've had a crush in high school, I feel like that's exactly how it is. Basically, the girl, everybody was like, oh, go talk to him, and she was like, no, no. And it's funny because the whole school, it felt like, are like, oh my god, she's finally gonna go talk to him. Oh my god, he's finally gonna go talk to her. And I feel like this was just so high school vibes. It was fine. I liked it. I'm not feeling great this morning, so you can't make fun of me. Hi, last night I started this book. It was my bedtime book, and I only got 6 pages in, and already it radiates Chappell Roan. I swear it's like Chappell Roan wrote this book. The character just has the same attitude as her. This was recommended for the song My King is Karma, but I honestly think it could be for any of her songs. I tabbed the first line of the 2nd chapter. It says, I had only closed my eyes for a second, and in this new place behind my eyelids, my hair was made of peacock feathers, and I was riding a silver pony. The world here was simple. Smiley sun, fluffy clouds, grass that was greener than green on all sides. Then my head hit the steering wheel, and I woke up to a long annoying honk, reminding me that I was logged onto the app, on the road, and in traffic. I'm gonna have to listen to that song again, My King is Karma. I really don't listen to it as much. I don't even think it made my top songs, but this is really reminding me more of Pink Pony Club. Like, that line in general just gave me Pink Pony Club. I'm enjoying this so far. I just cannot get Chappell out of my head while I'm reading this. And I know I'm reading it for her song, but it just reads like her. So I'm enjoying this so far, and I like it for the Chappell pick. I have not read anything else in Your Driver is Waiting. I am still 6 pages in. I'm gonna spend some time with it today because I just don't want to look at my screen. I literally been looking at screens so much this week because I just didn't have the energy to do anything else. I always say this, but I do not understand the people that are able to read while they're sick. I'm like, I don't have any brain cells. My brain will not function, and I'm literally just scrolling on my phone, which is very rare for me. I never really use my phone. I'm usually on my laptop. That was hell, and honestly, as you can tell, I still am not 100%, but I feel better enough that I'm able to pull out the camera. So I'm gonna spend some time with this today. Hello, it's Monday, and I feel like I sound better, and I'm feeling a lot better. Thank God. Like, today is the first day that I feel energized. I feel like I can do things. I just got some work done for some clients. I thought I would give you a health update and a reading update. Yesterday, I read to 34 pages of Your Driver is Waiting, and I'm enjoying it. However, it's feeling a little slow, and I honestly think it's just me. I consume audiobooks so much that I don't read physical copies very often, and you know when you have to like switch your brain to a different format? That is how I'm feeling right now, where I'm just like, oh yeah, I read very slow. I forgot. But I'm enjoying it. However, I looked on Goodreads and like, I thought that the perception of this book was good and positive. I was trying to think of where I got this recommended, and honestly, most of my recommendations come from Instagram. I know this was very popular on Bookstagram, and when I went to Goodreads, that was not the same sentiment. It has a lot of 2 stars from people that I follow, and I was like, oh, But y'all, I'm gonna get back on my soapbox again because all year I have been reading books that talk about social commentary and satire, and all of the reviews are so bad because the people just didn't understand it. I'm enjoying it, I like the commentary, but I can understand why it would be a little complicated for people. Basically, we are following Damani, who is a rideshare driver. Her father has recently passed away, her mother is grieving, and she's the breadwinner of the family right now. And she is trying to make ends meet being a rideshare driver. While she is driving around, she's getting hate crimed, or she just has like horrible experiences. And I really like that it's from the perspective of a woman of color, especially a queer woman of color, because she talks about certain things that she has in her car, like pepper spray, and she's always thinking about what could happen to her. And that is honestly something I never thought about for rideshare drivers, and that's probably just my own ignorance, but as somebody who uses rideshare a lot, I really enjoyed this perspective. She has this awful experience with this rich man who is abusing his partner, and she is constantly thinking, oh my god, what do I need to do? I either have to call the authorities, or what is the best way for me to get out of this situation? And just wow. That is a perspective that I think a lot of people don't think about. Meanwhile, as she's driving people around, she's noticing the protests going on. There's protests for climate change, working conditions, and wages, especially for rideshare drivers. And she can't participate in these protests because she needs to make a living. And I think that's also a really important conversation to have, especially right now as our economy fucking sucks and is probably gonna suck way more come January. So I really enjoy that this book is having those discussions. I have not gotten to the romancy part yet. This is not a romance. I believe it's just a fiction book, and the romance is just there, but this is not a strict romance. But I'm interested to see how it goes. I'm liking the writing, and again, I'm liking how the story is being told. But I'm hoping I can read this book fairly quickly today so I can get this video up, because I've been working on it for, feels like way too long. But I'm just glad I'm feeling better. Like, you know when you get sick and then you just feel like you've come out of your like hibernation pretty much. Like, I feel like a changed man. Like, I feel like I've come out on top, and I literally feel alive today. I feel so alive and creative. Like, I just want to do things. I've been planning some Instagram content, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna film some things for Instagram, and then I'm probably gonna rest. I'm gonna go do some things, and hopefully I will be back with a update that I finished the book. Bye. Hello, it's Wednesday and I'm still reading this book. I have like 100 pages left. I'm enjoying it. It definitely feels like a mix between Such a Fun Age and Pizza Girl. I just keep thinking about those books while I read this. For Pizza Girl, I'm just getting the same vibes, and the characters are a little similar. In Pizza Girl, there is a 18-year-old pregnant girl who is our main character, and she becomes infatuated with a customer she has as a pizza delivery girl. And in this book, our main character, Damani, is a rideshare driver, and she picks up a woman named Jolene, who she becomes infatuated with. But I bring up Such a Fun Age because of the social commentary. It's a little similar. Pretty much, it talks about white feminism, and Damani realizes that Jolene is really not who she thought she was. We learn that Jolene is a social worker, and she is an ally, and she calls her friends out when they say problematic things. But now that we are getting into more of the protests and talking about striking, this definitely is hitting on activist spaces that can be very toxic and can promote white feminism, and they can have some bad actors in the space because they just want everything for themselves. And so basically this white woman, Jolene, is talking over the marginalized groups and the people who have already been striking and organizing. So they're talking about going on strike as rideshare drivers and how they want to have ownership over the corporations of the rideshare They're saying that the corporations don't deserve any money because the rideshare drivers are funding the business, so they deserve everything. And Jolene just says we shouldn't be promoting violence because the rideshare drivers who are about to strike and who are organizing start to talk about ways that they can bring more awareness. And they're like, we're gonna bomb the office. And she's like, violence is not the answer. This is how we could do it. And it doesn't go over very well. Now, she was a little drunk. Does it excuse her behavior? Absolutely not. And then she just goes on and starts speaking over them and talking about what they should do, and she's trying to help. Honestly, I got secondhand embarrassment because the people who disagree with her and who are actually organizing are like, great, thanks for the advice and your input. I didn't ask for it. And then Jolene just starts the white woman tears where she's like, oh, this always happens in activist spaces. I feel attacked right now. And just, if you've ever read Such a Fun Age, I feel like you'll probably understand where I'm coming at. These are great comp titles for this book. So I'm enjoying it. I will say I am a little bit confused of like, where is this going to go? Because I'm like, okay, what is the purpose of this book besides the social commentary aspect? Because it feels like a slice of life, and it is a literary fiction, which can be confusing sometimes because they don't always have an end result. It's not the traditional beginning, middle, end where we have the characters fall at the beginning and then their resolution at the end, the climax. But this just doesn't really feel like it's going anywhere, pretty much. And I think that's just because this character is stuck in her circumstances and I don't see a way out. And honestly, that's so realistic, and I really wouldn't mind to just have a slice of life book. So I'm curious to see if anything happens in terms of development with the striking, because Damani's like, oh, there's such a good quote that I saved. I literally tabbed so much of this book. Though it wasn't hot in my car, I felt sweaty. What if something else terrible happened? What if I didn't get any pings tomorrow? What if I couldn't pay all the bills? What if Jolene thought I was too eager or too closed off? Would I be a traitor if I moved in with her tomorrow? I knew I had to breathe, but very interesting. Like I said, I like this perspective of her being like, I would like to protest with you and I'm in solidarity, but I need to make money and I can't just not make money because I am the sole caregiver and breadwinner of the family. Like, I'm bringing in money for my mother who is sick. I'm not going to make money any other way. I do like too that we're getting to know how much money she makes each time that she works. I wish I had a little bit more of that. I was thinking like, I wish I had some chapter headers of that where maybe we see like how much money she has at the end of the day, or like when she does stuff, how much money she has. I would just like to know that. I think it would be interesting because she is very fixated on income. Like maybe we could get like a section where we get her like monthly balance or something like that. I think that would be interesting. But yeah, she's the only one paying the bills in her family. She lives with her mother who is sick, and her father recently died, and this is just a hard situation for her. And she's trying to feel for her friends, and she's kind of jealous because she's like, great, I wish I could just stop and do everything. And then she meets Jolene, who is like, yes, we can go to my summer house, we can do this, we can do that. Like, my parents pay for a lot of the things that I do, and they help me be able to be a social worker because I don't make enough money as a social worker. And I just think it's an interesting dynamic, and also it's more of like an escape for Damani because she's doing some things that maybe she wouldn't do. But I honestly just really feel for her as a character because she just has a lot going on. She doesn't want to invite people over because her mother is sick and she's mentally ill, and there's just a lot going on there, and there's just a lot going on with this character. She's very complex, and I love a messy queer so much. That's it for now, I guess. I don't really have too much more to say. I'm enjoying what the book is doing, but I am curious to see what the end result is, because like I said, I'm like, okay, what is the purpose of me reading this? What am I getting out of it besides this perspective? So, I have 100 pages left, and I will see you at the end. I've successfully finished Your Driver is Waiting, so let's talk about it. This is actually a Taxi Driver retelling. I've never watched that movie. Now I have 2 movies to catch up on: Taxi Driver and the adaptation of A Man Called Ove, A Man Called Otto, and Tom Hanks is Ove. I think he's the perfect casting, so I'm excited to watch those. But let's talk about the book. Everything I recently said in the last clip still holds true. I was satisfied by the ending of this. I'm not going to give things away or spoil this too much. It's a book about social commentary and being in your 30s. The character is 32. She lives with her mother who is sick. It is her grieving, but really, it is her struggling through life. A stylistic choice I thought was interesting in the book is there's no specific city, which honestly, it confused me a lot of times because she was using kilometers. And I believe this might be a British author because it really doesn't give me much in the author's bio. It says that she is a creative writing graduate from Kingston University, which I looked up, and apparently it's in London, England. For my research, I found it's just an unnamed American city. It could be playing off of California. I don't really know if it matters because it's so universal, this issue of people not being able to make ends meet, and also the uptick in rideshare and people using that as their income. And like I've already said multiple times in this video, I really like the perspective from a queer person of color who is a rideshare driver and is the sole income for their family. I just really liked the conversations about the activist community, and I liked just seeing this perspective because, like I've already said, I just enjoyed getting to see the perspective from somebody that's like, I really want to help, but I can't. And I know being in activist spaces that people say protesting can be a privilege because not everybody can go out and protest. They may be disabled and maybe they just can't get out there, it's not accessible, and yeah, I think that is so important. So I really don't have much to say besides I like the conversations, but also if you like Chappell Roan's music, most people that do are leftists and are radical, so I think that this is a perfect comp to any of her books. But today I started listening to some of My Kink is Karma. Now I have listened to that song before, I just don't listen to it as much. I'll actually show you all of the songs from Chappell Roan that were on my Spotify Wrapped this year. I honestly think it was like every song but My Kink is Karma, but still, this can probably go for any of her songs. The vibe from Chappell as a person and her music definitely resonates with this book, so I think it doesn't even matter what song, but My Kink is Karma is a good comp for this book. So I enjoyed this, I liked the social commentary, and I'm glad I read it. And as you can see, it is a very noteworthy book. I tabbed so much, so it's safe to say I did enjoy this. Let me know if you have read this, and those are my thoughts on this book. And that's the vlog, where I had Spotify Wrapped choose my TBR. If you enjoyed the video, the best way to support me is to leave a like and a comment on this vlog. Let me know what your top song or artist of the year was, and if you're not into that, let me know what your most listened to thing was. Maybe it was an audiobook, or maybe just a movie that you really enjoyed. I would love to know in the comments, and if you're not up to leaving a comment, you can comment a music emoji so I know you stay. And if you'd like to know some of the songs on my top songs of the year playlist, I'm actually over on my Instagram right now asking you for some numbers and sharing my songs. So if you're interested, go over to my Instagram. It's just at Pucks and Paperbacks. I hope to see you over there. If you want more videos like this, hi, I'm Alex. This is Pucks and Paperbacks, where I love to share about queer and trans books. And I actually have a vlog where I read books based on song lyrics. So that will be up here, and you can hit subscribe there. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video very soon. Bye.